तमेव लोकशङ्करं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं नमामि शङ्करं गुरुं.
श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. वरमभयमुदारं पुस्तकञ्चाक्षहारं मणिवलयमनोज्ञैः पाणिपद्मैर्दधाना सितवसनललामा कुन्दमुक्ताभिरामा वसतु शशिनिभास्या वाचि वाग्देवतानः. सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. With namaskaras to the Padapadmas of the Ubhay Jagadgurus. In this series titled Punyabhumi Sringeri, we have been discussing the greatness of this Sringeri Kshetra, the Visheshas that are found in this Kshetra, the reasons why this has been called a Kshetra and as a Teertha. And in the last episode, we have discussed the Anadi Guru Parampara that has resided in this Kshetra, what the qualities of a guru are, what a parampara is, and how that parampara has been tied to the Sringeri Kshetra. Today we will be looking at how this Sringeri Kshetra has been called a Teertha. As we said in an earlier episode, a Teertha is any holy site where there is also a body of water. It can be a river, a lake, a pond, or the ocean. Such a place is called a Teertha. And the water of a Teertha is said to be exceedingly pure. That is why there is one statement in Sahitya, in Anataka, Teerthodakancha vanhischa nanyata shuddhim arhataha. This is a statement by Bhavabhuti in the Uttararamacharitram, where he says that Teerthodaka, the water of a Teertha, and Vanhi, the Yajnagni, the fire of the Yajna, these do not need external purification. They are intrinsically pure. They are intrinsically sanctified. They do not need to be purified by any other means. So, this Tunga Nadi that flows in the Sringeri Kshetra is such an exceedingly pure body of water. And we can see that the greatness of Tunga is extolled not only by the Itihasas and Puranas, but we can see mentions of Tungabhadra also in Ayurvedic texts. There is one text called Bhojana Kutuhala, written by a Vidwan named Raghunatha, in which he discusses the medical effects of various rivers across India. In doing so, he discusses the benefits of Tungabhadra's water. Tungabhadra jalam snigdham nirmalam swadudam guru kandu pittasradam satmye kandu pittasradam prayaha Satmye Shaityakaram Param. So, Satmye Shaityakaram, the water of Tungabhadra, is said to be a very good cooling agent as per Ayurveda. So, there are many such medicinal properties attributed to Tungabhadra's water, which is why there is one saying that is very popular amongst the people: Ganga Snana Tunga Pana. Just as it is exceedingly meritorious to bathe in Ganga's water, it is so too it is extremely meritorious to ingest the water of this Tunga Nadi. So this Tunga is also very tied with the Sringeri Kshetra. We can say that Jagadguru Vidyarani Mahaswami refers to this Tunga Nadi in the Shankara Digvijaya. When discussing Bhagavatpada's arrival in this Kshetra, the Acharya writes, Samsparsha matrena vitirna bhadra vidyotate yatra cha Tungabhadra. So Bhagavatpada came to Sringeri, wherein that Tungabhadra flows, which by its very touch gives mangala, gives auspiciousness, gives welfare to all that so much as touch it. And also we say Bhagavatpada write in his Mathamnaya Anushasana, Chaturtho Dakshinamnaya Sringeri tu Matho Bhavet. Of the 4 Amnaya Pithas that Bhagavatpada established, the 4th of these is Sringeri. Rameshwara Hayam Kshetram, the Kshetra designated for this Matha is Rameshwara. Adivaraha Devata. The Devata of this Matha is Varahaswami. Sureshwarakhya Acharya. The first Acharya, the first Jagadguru of this Pitha is Sureshwaracharya. Tungabhadreti Teerthakam. Tungabhadra is the Teertha attributed, designated for this Sringeri Matha. So, why is Varaha the Devata of this Matha? That is a question that we might get. Bhagavatpada himself has done Pratishtha of Sharadamba here. Rishyashringa Maharshi and Vibhandaka Maharshi have worshipped Malahanikareshwara, who is Shiva here. So, how is it that Bhagavatpada has designated Varahaswami as the Devata of this Kshetra? What is the relationship between Varaha, Adivaraha, Sringeri and Tunga? The answer can be found in the Puranas. The story of Adivaraha is known to all of us in Bhagavata, but the continuation of that story and therein the relationship of Adivaraha and Tunga Nadi is found in the Brahmanda Puranas Tungabhadra Mahaatmiyam. As we all know, in the Bhagavata Purana, the story goes that Hiranyaksha, the son of Diti and Kashyapa, stole the earth and immersed it in the Pralaya Sagara. Then Bhagavan emerged from Brahma's nostril, Chaturmukha Brahma's nostril, as in the form of a wild boar, and uplifted the earth upon his two tusks, placed it in its rightful location, and then dispatched the Daitya. He killed the Hiranyaksha. After doing that, there is a stuti done to that Adivaraha by the Devatas, wherein they praise Bhagavan. We should keep in mind that the form of Bhagavan as Adivaraha is not that of a Prakrita Varaha. It is not that of a wild boar that we see in the world today. Bhagavan says in Gita, Janma karma cha me divyam. The way that I manifest, the leelas that I do, these are not to be understood on a mortal level. These are not to be understood on a physical level, but they are to be understood as divine. Therefore, this Adivaraha Rupa, this boar form that Bhagavan has taken, is also not a wild boar that we see in forests today. Instead, we see that the Devatas say in Bhagavata, Trayimayam Rupamidancha Saukaram. This Saukara Rupa, this Yajna Sukara Rupa, this Yajna Varaha Rupa is made up of the Vedas. This body is the manifestation of the Vedas. Yad Romakupeshu Nirilyur Adhvaraha. Namo Namah Karana Sukarayate. Namaskara to that Varaha, in whose hairs reside all the yagas. So in each hair of Bhagavan, as that Adivaraha, a different yajna is there. A Soma yajna, a Paka yajna, some Homa, some Agnihotra. In each hair of Bhagavan, there is one Vaidika karma residing there. So we can imagine the purity of that form. We can imagine the sanctity of that form that Bhagavan took. And once Bhagavan immersed himself in that Pralaya Sagara, emerged with the earth, performed Asura Samhara, and then shook his body, shaking off the water, that water was sprinkled upon all the Devatas and Rishis present. They then say, Vidhunvata Vedamayan Nijam Vapuho, Janas Tapas Satya Nivasino Vayam, Sata Shikhodhuta Shivambu Bindubhihi, Vimrijyamanaha Vayam Bhrishamisha Pavitaha. So they say, Ishvara, Paramatma, we have been sanctified by this water. Which water? Vedamayam Nijam Vapuhu Vidhunvata. When you shook this body of yours, which consists of the Vedas, Sata Shikhodhuta Shivambu Bindubhihi. Sata refers to a mane, usually the mane of a lion, but here it refers to the bristles of the hair around the face of the boar. So when you have shaken your head, the water that has the droplets of water that have fell out of that hair, that Shiva Ambu Bindubhihi, that exceedingly pure water that has been sprinkled by your hair, that has fallen upon us, and with that Vimrijyamanaha, having been washed by that, Vayamisha Pavitaha, we have been purified by that water. So such was the purity of that Yajnavaraha's form. We can look at Tungabadra Mahaatmiyam to know what happened after that. Nikshipya bhumim jaladho yathavat shramanvito vedagirin jagama tadangadas vedajalam prabhutam Daunshtrasritam Punyanadi Babhuva. This is the shloka that we find in Tungabhadra Mahaatmiyam. Having done these two exceedingly difficult tasks, uplifting the earth and killing this Adidaitya, this Hiranyaksha, Bhagavan, in order to relieve himself of that fatigue, came to the Sahya Parvatas and therein took rest upon one Parvata called Vedagiri. There, his sweat pooled upon his body and flowed from his tusks. The sweat that flowed from Adivaraha's tusks, Daunshtrasritam, Tadangajas Svedajalam, that sweat born of Varaha's body, Daunshtrasritam, having emanated from his tusks, Punyanadi Babhuva, became an exceedingly pure river. Varaha Vamadaunshtrattu Tunga Tungabhalaprada Samudbhuta Nrupashrestha Bhadra Dakshina Daunshtrataha. From the left tusk, the sweat that flowed became Tunga, and the sweat that flowed from the right tusk became Bhadra. So this is how the two rivers Tunga and Bhadra came into being. Later, as they flow, they merge, become Tungabhadra. Tungabhadra itself at Sangameshwara merges with Krishna Nadi. So this Tungabhadra is a tributary of the Krishna river. But here we may get one doubt. So here we clearly see that Tunga and Bhadra are two separate streams of water. One has come from the left tusk, the other has come from the right tusks. We see in the world also, geographically also, we see that these two flow separately. So how is it that Bhagavat Pada in the Mathamnaya Shasana said Tungabhadreti Teerthakam? How is Tungabhadra designated as the Teertha for Sringeri and not just Tunga? And also in Vidyaranya Mahaswami Shankara Digvijaya also we say Samsprishta Matrena Vitirna Bhadra Vidyotate Yatra Cha Tungabhadra. So Vidyaranya Mahaswami also has said that Tungabhadra flows in Sringeri. But in Sringeri, as we all know, between Narasimhavana and Sharada Devi's Mandira, it is only Tunga that flows. So how are we to understand that Bhagavat Pada and Vidyaranya both have said Tungabhadra is flowing in Sringeri, but here we see only Tunga? Here we must understand one more thing that the Purana tells us. Tungabhadram suraf prochur ekaiveti nrupottama Tunga Narayana Sakshat Bhadra Devo Maheshwaraha Bhedantayor yah kurute Bhedakari Vrajatyadhaha. Tunga is to be understood as a form of Narayana. Bhadra Devo Maheshwaraha. Bhadra is understood to be the form of Ishvara, Paramashiva. So just as we do not see Bheda between Shiva and Keshava, we should not see Bheda between Tunga and Bhadra. So just as it is sinful, in fact, to see a Bheda between Shiva and Keshava, there are many Purana Vakyas that tell us that those who find Bheda between Hari and Hara, those who say that Hari is greater than Hara or Hara is greater than Hari, or that the two are separate, they fall into the worst of Narakas, Yavat Chandra Divakaram, until the sun and moon shine, they will stay in Naraka until then. So just as, because it is so sinful to see Bheda between Hari and Hara, we should not see Bheda between Tunga and Bhadra, which are of the form of Hari and Hara. So Tunga is referred to as Tungabhadra. Bhadra is also referred to as Tungabhadra. There is no difference between the two. Tayor Bhedan Tayor Yah Kurute. Anyone that sees Bheda between the two rivers, Tunga and Bhadra, Bhedakari Vrajatyadhaha. He goes to the lower worlds, he goes to Naraka. Because he has committed the papa of seeing Harihara Bheda. So, such a pure Tungabhadra Nadi is flowing in the Sringeri Kshetra. The name Tungabhadra itself is telling us the upakara, the benefit that Tunga brings to a sadhaka that dips in her. Jagadguru Sri Chandrasekhara Bharati Mahaswami writes in the Acharya's Tungastava, Majjale Snapanakartra Naranam Tungabhadra Manisham Karavani Suchanaya Bhavati Karunardre Tadrishankila Dadhatyabhidhanam. So why does this river have the name Tungabhadra? Tunga refers to something that is lofty. Bhadra means something that is auspicious. Shvashreyasam Shivam Bhadram Kalyanam Mangalam Shubham. Shivam Bhadram. So there we get the word Bhadra to mean Mangala. So Majjale Snapanakartra Naranam. To those people that take a bath in my waters, Tungabhadram Anisham Karavani. I cause them exceedingly lofty auspiciousness. I cause them exceedingly great benefits. To tell the world that this is the benefit I am giving you, O Tungabhadra, you have taken upon such a name. You have taken upon a name that tells us the upakara that you have done to this world. You have taken upon a name that tells us how pure you are and how you purify those that take a bath in you. So such a Tungabhadra Nadi, such a Tunga Nadi is flowing in the Sringeri Kshetra. So this story that we have just talked about pertains to Krita Yuga. As we all know, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakshara, they are called Adi Daityas in Bhagavata because they appear in the Srishti Adi in the first Yuga, which is Krita Yuga. The story of Bhagavatpada coming to this Sringeri Kshetra and establishing a parampara here, the story that we told last time as to how the Guru Parampara came to Sringeri, is a story that pertains to Kali Yuga, as we all know. As Acharya, the 33rd Acharya writes, Kalyado Parvatesha Pravarasurgana Prarthitaha Shrautavatma Prabalyan Netu Kamaha Yativara Vapusha Agatya Shringashaile. So the Acharya, Paramashiva, as a Yati Vara, came to Sringeri in Kalyado, in the beginning of Kali Yuga. So the story of Shankaracharya and the Guru Parampara coming to Sringeri is one pertaining to Kali Yuga. As we have just seen, the story of Tunga, how Tunga emerged and started flowing to Sringeri, is a story that pertains to Krita Yuga. There is one more story that pertains to Sringeri that explains why Sringeri is such a pure kshetra, and in fact how this Sringeri kshetra got its name. This story is tied in with Treta Yuga. We will look at this story and how this Sringagiri got its name in the next episode. Namah Shankaraya.